So to find what's going on with the quadratic at a specific height. So the first question, where does this equation have a height of -5? Okay, so first things first, I grab my calculator and I type y equals -2x squared plus 2.5x plus 1. Type it and it looks like that. Okay, where does it have a height of -5? So what am I looking for? I'm looking for, like, where would it have this height? So I can see that right here and right here, the height would be -5. Okay, so what is the strategy? We've done this over and over again. How do you put a height in? Do you remember? You do a y2. So I need you to give me a y2 -5. So type that into your calculator. So you go back to your y screen. Now you have another equation in there. Okay. Now, calculator again. What's the method to figure out where this is happening? What's that called in the menu? Intersection. So we go second trace to calculate an intersection. Enter, enter, enter. So over here, I'm getting -1.22. That would be the x value. The x value where that height is. Did that match yours? Is that working? No one's agreeing or disagreeing, so I'm not sure how to take your reactions. Am I going too fast that you are not able to keep up with the calculator buttons? Too fast? Okay. So second calculate, intersection, enter, enter, enter. No one has nodded yet. Anybody that completed this task? Yes. What's that? Are you like caught up to this where you have both of them in there?
Yeah, I have the.
Okay, so you go second trace to that calculation menu and then intersection. And then you just do enter, enter, enter. Okay. I need to get to this other one. So before I do that, I'm going to make sure my cursor is closer to that. Here's how I do it fast. I'm just going to go something like 2 enter. Now do you see where my mouse went? It's closer to the x value of 2, which means it's closer to that coordinate over there. So now I'm going to repeat. Second calculate, intersection, enter, enter, enter. I got to get my mouse closer to that one to do them differently. So I have 2 answers to that question. So second calculate, intersection, enter, enter, enter. We're good with those? Okay, y equals clear, clear. So give me this equation, 3x squared minus 7x plus 6, graph. Okay, do you have something that looks like that? Similar? Okay, where else does this graph have a height equal to its y-intercept? So you need to understand, what does a y-intercept look like? That point is a y-intercept. Okay? I want to know what that point is. Who has the method of how to find that point? Do you remember that one? How do you find that coordinate? What do? You activate your mouse, your cursor. So how do you activate your cursor? You hit the trace button. Where do you want your cursor to go? What do you know exactly here? You know what? X is 0, so tell your cursor to go to 0. And there it is. 0, 6 is that coordinate. So where else does this graph have that height? So visually, this coordinate over here has the same height. And what is the height? 6. The height is 6. They're flat with each other. So what am I going to do this again? Y2. I'm going to put a height at 6 and see where this is all happening. So I do my Y2. 6. So obviously I know that this is an intersection at 0. I know that already. So I want, where's my mouse? Well, right now it's there. So I need you to get me my cursor has to be something closer to this one. So you just have to move it so that it looks closer. Okay, once it's closer to the intersection you want, second calculate, intersect, enter, enter, enter. Let the calculator think for you. And there's your answer. Okay, next question says to graph both sides of this equation and get the answer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to call this side the first equation, so it's going to be my y1, and I'm going to call this side my y2. So I'm going to have two equations. I'm going to type that in exactly as I see. Okay, so everybody should look like this right now. Y1, Y2, got them in there. I'm going to graph okay, I think I would like to see a little bit more of this picture, because there's some stuff maybe down here that would be nice to see. How do I change the space of my picture? What's the button that I would push to change what I'm seeing in my screen? Remember how to change your window? Which item would I change? Because I wanted to see down more. What would that be? Y min? I'm going to go to -20 or something a little bit lower. There we go. I like this. So I went to -20 just to see lower. Okay, so this is what I'm seeing on my calculator. Did you do a baby negative symbol? Oh, yeah. That'll change things. Now, does it look like this? No?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay.
Oh.
I've also changed my window. No?
It's really weird. It goes like. Oh, yeah.
Oh, this looks like a negative x. This should be a subtract x.
Oh.
Subtract. Baby negative. Okay. So what do I do to get the answer? I want to know, where does this equal that? So it means, where do they intersect each other? They are equal to each other where they hit each other. Okay, so can you get me an x equals answer and an x equals answer? I want to know the x values that they cross at. I do not want to know the coordinates, because pretend you were just doing algebra here. If you were doing algebra and you were trying to figure this out, the end result would be x equals. That's what the algebra would be. So that's what I want to know from the graph. So can you get me that? You know the steps. Second, calculate intersection. Enter, enter, enters. Okay, how are we going with those answers? Are we matching? Getting? Okay. Last example. So I need you to type this in. So give me a y equals, clear, clear. Okay, so here's what the question says. So there's my shape from what my graph looks like. And there's this coordinate on there, -2, -9. So what is the symmetric point to that coordinate? So what does that mean? It means figure out the point over there. This is symmetric. Do you see the symmetric? It has a partner. Every point has a partner except for that vertex won't have a partner. Okay, so what do I do to get that coordinate? What do you know about this coordinate for sure already? I know it has a height of -9 already. I know that. Do you see why? It's straight across, so it's got the same height. So what do? What's the strategy? Give me a y2. y2 and intersect, enter, enter, enters. Okay, do you understand that I answered this differently? So to this one, I answered as a coordinate. This one, I answered x equals a number. Why did I answer them differently? It's because of the words. Where does it have a height of? So just the x. Here it says, what is the point? So I had to write it as a point.